Naming is a human instinct. We name our children, our pets, our cars. When a new faraway star is discovered, immediately it is given a name. Some new widget is invented, and the inventor says, "What should I call this thing?" And most of the time, our naming has some reflection of the purpose or the glory of the thing. There's a geyser in Yellowstone that erupts several times a day at regular intervals. What is its name? Old Faithful, right? Our family's black lab, his name is Shadow, because he's black. And Hudson said that he would follow him wherever he goes. When I was a kid, we had a female pig. Her name was Miss Piggy. I think you can figure that one out. In Genesis 3, when Adam came face to face with the consequences of his sin and the inevitability of death that his sin had brought, he looked at his wife and called her name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. To Adam, his wife was a living demonstration of God's mercy. The curse of the broken covenant of works that was still fresh in his ears was that they would surely die, and that they did. But God, in his grace, did not strike them down instantly, and he did not remove the ability to bear children for the future from the woman, though childbearing now would come through great pain. Through his wife, Adam could see a future of redemption that would have been impossible without her. He had heard the word of the Lord that promised that one of Eve's offspring would make a deadly blow against that deceitful serpent. And in her, he could see his children and their children's children, just maybe one day being welcomed back into the garden through the merciful provision of the Lord. So on this Mother's Day, ladies, the exhortation is for you to view your motherhood in a similar way. Does your husband and your children see in you a picture of God's mercy? Are you a daughter of Eve? Are you a life giver, not simply biologically, but also spiritually? Sadly, there are plenty of women who are biological life givers, while at the same time they are soul destroyers. They aren't vessels of mercy, but wrath. Not tenderness and compassion, but irritableness and vengeance. Solomon describes this kind of woman in Proverbs 21. She is not a reminder of the garden and the hope of life. Rather, he says, it is better to live in a corner of the housetop than in a house shared with a quarrelsome wife. And it is better to live in a desert land than with a quarrelsome and fretful woman. Proverbs 14:1 says that a wise woman builds her house, but the foolish woman with her own hands tears it down. Then there's this strange commandment in the law that actually occurs in 3 separate places. It says, you shall not boil a young goat in its mother's milk. And while no one violates the letter of this law today in America, this law, this command, is broken in countless homes every day. The principle is essentially this, that which is meant to be a means of life may not be used as a means of death. And too many moms are cooking their kids' souls in the way that they mother. Ladies, mother in mercy, mother in grace, mother in truth. Now, this does not mean that you are to be a pushover. Kids, your mom is not being unmerciful when she disciplines you. She's actually showing mercy to you. So being a gracious mother, a merciful mother, doesn't mean that you are a pushover, because that is also destructive. Rather, it means that you should probably actually discipline sooner so that you aren't being pushed to the point of rage and vengeance. But this does mean that you should watch your words, Mom. Words have soul-shaping power. You should seek to build up, not tear down. You should be a refuge and a warm, soft place for your children to hide in this scary, cold, and harsh world. And you should be an encouragement to your husband and a help in his work so that when he looks at you, he sees an optimistic future. He sees in you the victory of Christ, and he sees the beauty of the gospel. He sees the mercy of God giving both to you and through you. Now, you have done and will do this imperfectly, even poorly at times. But the grace of God in Christ is sufficient. It is sufficient to cover your every sin and shortcoming. So confess them to the Lord, to your family, and then rise forgiven, ready to glorify God with your life.